You'd think that after centuries of being colonized, exploited and carved up, Africa would get a break. But no, we have a new gang in town now, and this time is different. Instead of outright colonization, it's a game of chess with Russia, China and the US playing the roles of very generous benefactors. They're not bringing guns and flags, just promises of economic aid. And what's the catch? Resources, influence and a chance to stick their noses into African business. Yet again. Let's start with the US latest move in Tanzania. Now, Tanzania is in East Africa, home to Dar es Salaam, one of Africa's biggest ports. The US is swooping in with a friendly offer, $250 million to develop a shiny new railway. That's right, $250 million. I don't know about you, but when someone offers me that kind of money, I'm asking, what is the catch? Well, turns out there are two reasons for the US generosity. First, they want to connect Tanzania to Angola, Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo with a railway line, so they can link up some very convenient mining hubs. Yes, because those copper and cobalt mines are not going to exploit themselves. By connecting the Atlantic and the Indian Oceans, America gets its hands on Africa's mineral wealth without even setting foot in a mine. The second reason is the scramble for influence. The US is running full speed to catch up to China, who's already got a head start on this African influence race. China's been tossing billions around Africa like confetti at a wedding, building mines and railways. So, America is not being generous. It's just playing catch-up in the global game of who can control Africa. And China have been quietly flexing their financial muscles in Africa for years, building everything from railways to stadiums to highways. They've been loaning out money like a rich uncle who never asks for it back. Except they do. And suddenly, Africa is stuck with debt and Chinese companies swooping in to take control of the assets. For a while, China slowed down on their loans, but now that the US is getting aggressive, they're getting back in the game, making sure they don't lose influence. It's like watching two rich kids fight over a toy neither of them wants. They just don't want the other person to have it. Meanwhile, in West Africa, the US scored another big win, a deal with Ghana to build a small nuclear reactor. Yes, because nothing says we care about your development like offering nuclear power. Ghana had been fielding offers from 5 countries, China, South Korea, France, Russia, and the US, but America came out on top, snatching the deal from under Moscow's nose. And after losing a bunch of nuclear contracts to Russia in other African countries, the US really needed this win. Now, don't get me wrong, nuclear energy is great for Ghana. It will help with power shortages. But you have to wonder, is this really about helping Ghana or is it just about outshining Russia? Because I think it's the Russia one. The big question here is, who's winning in this shadowy game for influence? Is it the US, China, Russia? Well, let's be honest, the big losers are probably the African countries themselves. They've seen this all before. They know that with every shiny promise of aid comes a long-term bill. And when these superpowers are done playing their geopolitical games, the continent is left cleaning up the mess. And what does Africa get out of all of this? A few shiny new railways, some nuclear power plants, and maybe a little infrastructure here and there. But at what cost? The same cost it has always been: sovereignty, resources, and inevitably debt. So as a new scramble for Africa heats up, let's just hope that this time around the continent gets a great deal. Because while the players may have changed, the game is still as rigged as ever. What do you think? Is Africa really benefiting from all these investments? Or are we just seeing the same old tricks, just in shiny new packages? Let us know in the comments.